This video will cover the disassembly, inspection, maintenance, and reassembly of the internal parts and body of the HammerHead PowerPort pneumatic piercing tool. This video does not cover the service and maintenance of the head assembly. Before you operate or perform maintenance on a pneumatic piercing tool, ensure that you are wearing the appropriate PPE for the task at hand, including but not limited to eye protection, hand protection, foot protection, and if operating, ear protection. For more information, refer to your tool's operator manual. To perform the service procedures within this video, you will need the following tools: tail bolt socket, a wrench sized to the external whip, torque wrench, rear anvil wrench. To begin, secure the unit to the work surface using a chain vise. Use a wrench to loosen the external whip. Use your hands to unthread the whip and remove it. Inspect the whip for damage and wear and replace if needed. Use the socket provided with your tool to loosen the tail bolts using a star pattern. Completely back off the tail bolts by hand. It is helpful to use a socket for easier removal of the bolts by hand. Remove the tail bolts. Remove the tail cone. Use the rear anvil wrench to back out the rear anvil by turning it in a counterclockwise direction. Carefully pull out the subassembly and set aside. Loosen the chain vise. Securely grasp the mole with both hands with the palm of one hand placed over the open end of the body. Gently tilt the mole towards the rear of the unit so that the striker slides back towards your palm. Slide the striker out of the back of the unit and set aside. Place the subassembly on a solid work surface and use the socket to remove the control stud that holds the valve in place. You might need to push down on the valve to loosen the stud. Set the stud aside. Remove the valve. Remove the control sleeve. Remove the rear anvil. Remove the isolator halves. After disassembling the subassembly, inspect all of the parts for damage and wear. Check the isolator halves for discoloration or missing parts, cuts, tears, or rips, and replace if damaged. Inspect the control sleeve for cuts, tears, discoloration, or missing sections, and make sure that it is still pliable. Replace if needed. Inspect the rear anvil threads to be sure that they are clean and that there are no cracks. And inspect the stops on the inside of the anvil. Replace if needed. Check the control stem. Be sure that the stops are square and not excessively worn, and that the parts making up the entire stem are tight together and the stem does not twist or move axially. Replace the entire control stem if worn. On the valve, inspect the stops around the control stud for damage. The corners of the tab between the two tracks should be sharp and not rounded. Check the valve for chips, breaks, or excessive wear and replace if warranted. Also, inspect the valve rings and make sure that they stand proud of the valve ring carriers and are not damaged or showing wear. Replace the rings if needed. If the valve rings need to be replaced, Place the valve on the edge of a stable work surface with the end of the valve ring that you will be replacing facing down. Carefully hold the valve on the top and use a sharp utility knife to cut through the valve ring. When the ring is cut through, you can use the brake to remove it from the valve. To install a new valve ring, first make the ring more pliable by squeezing it between your fingers and warming it up. Place one side of the ring in the ring groove and use your thumbs on either side of the part that is in the groove to work the ring into place. Place the valve ring compressor on your work surface with the tapered end up and insert the valve into the compressor, being careful not to pinch the ring. Leave the valve in the compressor for 5 minutes to allow the valve ring to return to its normal size. Repeat the process for the other valve ring. Now reassemble the control stem. Apply anti-seize to the bottom of the control stem and install the isolator halves on the control stem. While holding the two isolator halves together, slide the rear anvil onto the top of the control stem and onto the isolators. Rotate the anvil to properly seat it so that the isolators are all the way in. Slide the control sleeve onto the control stem and align the cutouts with the tabs in the anvil. Make sure that it is fully seated into the anvil. Install the valve onto the control stem with the end of the valve with the valve ring closest to the end pointed up. Rotate the valve to align the control stud threaded hole so that it is within the smile of the valve cutout. Not all valves will have a wide end and a narrow end, but the smile cutout on the valve will always make a happy smile. Attach the socket to the control stud for easier grip. Apply copper anti-seize to the threads on the stud and then install the stud into the control stem by hand. You might need to apply downward pressure onto the valve to fully reveal the threaded hole. After it is hand tight, use a torque wrench to tighten the stud to the specified torque in the parts manual and set the subassembly aside. Inspect the striker for damage, excessive wear, or rust. Clean the striker if needed and inspect the striker rings for damage and verify that they are standing proud on the striker body. Squeeze the ring to check the ring gaps to make sure that they are still to specification. If the ring is stretched and the gap is too small, but it is otherwise in good condition and standing proud, you can use a utility knife to cut the ring to adjust the gap to specification. Otherwise, replace worn, damaged, or improperly gapped rings. Inspect the threads on the body and use a wire brush to clean if warranted. Use a flashlight and look inside the body to make sure that it is clean. Apply copper anti-seize to the threads on the body. Lubricate the striker with HammerHead mold oil and insert the striker into the body. The end of the striker with one ring is inserted first. Apply copper anti-seize to the threads on the rear anvil and insert the stem assembly valve in first into the striker. Thread the rear anvil into the body. Use the rear anvil wrench to tighten the assembly into the body to snug. Replace the tail cone and tail bolts, applying copper anti-seize to the threads and clamping surface of the tail bolts. The tail bolts will only fit into the tail bolt holes. Torque the tail bolts using a torque wrench set to the specified torque in the parts manual. Tighten using a star pattern. Reinstall the rear whip. Thread it into the back of the unit by hand with a clockwise rotation until hand tight. Then tighten the connection with a wrench to the specified torque. Do a tip test to verify good striker movement, and then your unit is ready for action. The parts manual contains specific assembly information, including torque and gap settings.